Okay, hello. Well, so we're in the same book here, but I'm gonna see if I can try to finish it tonight before I clean up my ears. Okay, chapter 14. As a farm woman thinks. Laura Bailey spent more than a decade working and living in town. They weathered the financial panic of 1907 and they inherited $500 from Manley's parents. Then they decided to sell their townhouse and finish their partly completed home on Rocky Ridge Farm. Laura had dreamed for years about an ideal farm home. She imagined it raising from the land, construction of materials found on the farm, rock for the foundations, fireplace and chimney abandoned on the Wilder farm. Tabor was all around. When she dreamed her dreams aloud to Manley, he simply said, "Draw the plans," or a plan with pencil and paper, and laid out additions to his existing little house until she had designed a 10-room farmhouse, including 4 porches, a beam higher, a rock fireplace, and a library, and an open stairway to the upstairs. Manley looked at the plans and started preparing timber. In 1911, logs are got huddled to the mill, sawed and piled, seasons and dried for a year. The renters left 2-room houses on Rocky Ridge. And the Wilders crowded with their belongings. The kitchen was filled with pantry items. The front room was crowded with an organ, desk, and a table, chairs, and a bed. A narrow staircase led up to the attic room, and there Laura stored the sofa and her clothing. The Wilders were farming full-time, and Manley was busy in the fields and in the orchard. He hired a stonesman to lay rock foundation and a carpenter to go frame the new house. The workmen came and tore off the old roof in time for the rainstorm to ruin the new spring clothes Laura had put in the attic. During the rack, Laura tended her garden and her hens and served good new meals to the workmen. She knew that her food must be delicious and she must be cheerful, or the workers would simply wander off to work for more neighborly folks, leaving the job undone. Between his farm work and planning white with his workmen, Manley hauled rocks from the fields and hollow of the farm of the foundation and chimney. When he found fossils embedded in the brown and white rocks, he saved them using it as a facing chimney. Finally, Manley had enough, he told Laura he would haul no more work. Instead, he brought a load of red brick from the town to use for the fireplace. Laura was determined to have a native workplace. "I object sincerely," she said. "I agree. I argued. I begged, and at last, when everything failed, I wept." To her surprise, tears softened Manley. The fireplace was constructed of an enormous slab of Ozark rock, at the top supported by 2 equally sturdy stones found on the farm. Oak lumber came from the country sawmill, raw cut, and it had to be finished. Laura wanted the oak to be finished in its natural color and used to plan out the big Harrier. First, she said, "Never seen a beam selling." She wanted one, and she wanted windows. Great clear sheets of glass were placed in the pier walls to bring view of the land and trees and sky inside. Laura said the windows were here. were her windows, and they constantly changed for her. In the corner In one corner of the parlor, near the fireplace, was a little library made of the front-door shelves where I kept her books. There, and stack of the adventure magazine that she saved. On the wall, she hung Rose's Bates graduation picture from Carly. Opposite the library was a cozy little dining alcove. Condiment to the kitchen through a door was Laura's small office where she could sit at her desk to write letters and keep the farm's account books. The office was connected with the long bedroom used by Laura and Manly. The parlor stairway led the parlor to 2 rooms and a sleeping porch upstairs. Laura's front kitchen was also her workplace. She was not only cooked the meals there, but she also did all the canning and serving of fruits and vegetables. She charted in the kitchen, baked bread, cleaned the carrots and lamps each morning, and prepared for food for the pigs and hens to keep her kitchen tidy. Manly built in cupboards and drawers so that everything from the carrots to the turnip would have a place to be stored out of sight. A little room was built in the kitchen for a woodshed. The sturdy oak-framed farmhouse was covered with pine siding and painted white with gray trim. Stood under the shady oaks on the green land, almost a part of landscape. It seems to be beyond the low hill where it stands. Laura observes the tree-covered mountains at its back when the house on Rocky Ridge Farm was fictionally complete. In the fall of 1914, it was a showplace on the Ozarks. The Wilder home was unique. Visitors often did not know how to complete it. The remark that Laura appreciated the most came from a friend. "You have expressed yourself," she said. "It fits you, as though it was your shell." Beyond the finished house was flourishing farm. Apples and pears and peaches were packed barrels to solid in town or shipped to markets in the Memphis of St. Louis. Strawberries and raspberries grew on the slopes all around. Corn and wheat brought good prices in harvest time. The sole place bountifully the care given. Laura explained when the visitors remarked at the Wilder fruitful acres. Manly watched over his herd of the white Jersey cows with special pride. He kept track of the amount of milk the cows produced carefully. Carefully noted the cost of feed. Were recorded how much money they received when they delivered. Were recorded how much money they received when they delivered dairy products to Mansfield Creamery. Laura's specialty on the farm was a flock of flighty Leghorn hens. She designed a confident hen house that was clean and airy. She supplies plenty of fresh water for the hens. She fed flock well, but occasionally for Laura's goal was to make a dollar profit per hen. Over the hen's lifetime, most of the hen was grown on Rocky Ridge. Laura's success brought Razor became known throughout the Ozarks. One neighbor marveled that in the winter she gets eggs when no one gets eggs, and the vacation for Laura to appear at farmers' meetings to share her ideas and methods. Once when Laura was too busy at home to present a talk, she set a speech to read in her sentence, and the audience that day was John John Case, the editor of the farm weekly, the Missouri Rowless, was so impressed by Ora's writing style that in her visit, her to submit articles for publication. Ora was both pleased and bashful. When Mr. Case requested her writing, she had a little formal training, but she had always loved to read and study works, so Ora decided to try. Her first article, titled Figure System, the Small Farmhouse Home, appeared in the Roger pages in February 1911. Ora turned 44 that month and started her career as a writer. Between farm chores and housework, Ora wrote. She did interviews with the country people. She wrote essays and poems. She reissued long feature stories. Some of her writing dealt with the happenings on Rocky Ridge Farm. When Ora wrote about Manley, she referred to him as the man of the place. Throughout all of Ora's writings, her message was simple. Country life was good. The writing of Miss A.J. Wilder, as she called it in the Ora became a steady feature. Many years, Ora was proud when readers wrote to praise her, and when an editor told her, "Frankly, Miss Wilder, I like you and your stories better than anything that reaches us." The money paid to Ora for the articles was not much, range from $5 to $10. The Rush gave her a home called the Farm Home, and later on called as a Farm Woman Thinks. She also served as the Rowless household editor. Ora Wilder became known as an expert farm wife. She contributed articles about poetry to St. Louis Star Farmer, and told future stories about the Ozark to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. While Ora and Manley were built up in Rocky Ridge Farm, Rose is a big city career woman. As a Western Union telegrapher, she traveled widely, fictionally setting in San Francisco. She and Galate Land were married, and then in 1909, soon after their wedding, the Lands moved to Kansas City to work. Rose was employed as a writer for the Kansas City Post. Ora wrote to Rose, "When your brain is tired and your heart is short with longing to be free, then turn away from the crowds of men and come to the woods with me." It was an easy train from Kansas City to Mansfield, so Rose and Galate did come to Rocky Ridge, where Manley liked Galante Lane. The farm became a haven for Rose during the summer of 1910. She came there to recover from the death of her baby son. Like Ora, Rose had given birth to an infant boy who did not live. The traveling spirit seemed to be as strong as Rose as it was in Ora Manley. She and Galate returned to California, where they had a busy joint career selling real estate. Rose was one of the first female land agents in Northern California. She sold millions of acres of farmland and was successful to the threat of the World War I. Slow sales. Then a friend asked Rose to help with the writing for the woman's page of San Francisco Bulletin. By 1915, Rose Wilder Lee was established bulletin journalist. Back at Rocky Ridge, Ora was struggling to expand her writing. Rose advised her to find some someone else to tend hands and to concentrate on her writing. Through letters, Aura and Rose exchange writing ideas, discussed possible stories, and sought, sought ways for Aura to sell her writing to a higher paying publication, the Missouri Roulette. Aura was awed by Rose's success in San Francisco. Rose interviewed celebrities such as a businessman Henry Ford, the actor Charlie Chaplin, and daredevil airplane pilot Art Smith. Rose was eager to learn about of Rose's writing techniques. In 1915, the year San Francisco World's Fair, Rose invited her mama Bess to visit. I simply can't stand being homesick for you anymore, Rose wrote. Laura was recalled to leave Manly with all different work. But when Rose offered to help with expenses, Laura decided to go with Manly, arguing on her own. Laura made the train trip from Mansville to San Francisco. She spent 2 months there visiting Rose and Galate, seeing the exciting fair, meeting Rose's writers and artist friends, and pondering over the writing ideas. Laura wrote Manly and faithfully told him, I intend to do some writing that will count. Manly saved all the letters Laura wrote for San Francisco. In 1974, they were published in West from Home. Rose not only wanted to coach Laura in writing, she wanted her parents to move to California. Laura looked over the possibilities of chicken farming there, but she confided to Manly that she wouldn't trade all of California for one Ozark Hill. Before they left home, Laura received instructions from Rose to write articles about the Missouri except at the fair. She gathered her material and returned to Rocky Ridge full of enthusiasm and ideas for continuing her journalism career. Oops.